Welcome to the Upward Running Podcast, where faith fuels your fitness journey.
Welcome back to the Upward Running Podcast. This is your one stop each week to be motivated and inspired to get off the couch and onto the running trail where you can, in turn, inspire others to do the same. Let's learn, laugh, and leap into running together, giving God the glory for what we are able to do in His name. Amen. Well, I'm your running host, Dean Thompson, coming to you this week from York, Pennsylvania. Is it York? Is that
York, yes.
Okay, York,
yes.
Pennsylvania. And this is the home of legend George Williams. Everybody knows who George Williams is,
right.
so we'll talk a little bit about him. But
I've got questions.
But before there was a George Williams, there was another person who planted a lot of seeds and has done a lot and has conducted up to this point 19 5K challenge classes. And that person is Sue Evans, another one of our household names over the years. And we're so glad that she is here. And then we also have another part of a really successful class here, and that's Melissa. And Melissa, I guess we're in your church, right?
This is my church.
All right. And that's Melissa Lagana. Am I saying that right?
You got it. Yep.
All right. Very good. And of course, we have Upward Running Director Mitchell Hollis here as well.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question, though.
Okay.
So were you before George?
Missy and I were just talking about that today, and George came into my class.
So George came to your class?
Yes, my number 14 class. I had to go back and look to see where he came. Yeah, he just showed up, I guess, one time.
I think he did.
Is he going to show up tonight?
Yes,
Yeah,
he will be our
he
class
is.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
The legend will be here.
We were actually talking about him last night in the podcast that we did, because the two gentlemen that we were talking about, they were talking about, older people just say they can't do this. And I said, well, they need to go talk to George.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amen. Of course, you can do it. Anybody can.
Well, thanks for having us here.
Yeah.
This has been a cool trip. I've been to Pennsylvania twice in my life, and I've had the pleasure of spending time with Melissa on both trips now. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true.
How cool is that? Well, what's it like having a legend like George Williams around? I mean, is it hard to have a class where you have George and you have? Is that?
I mean, he is a legend, so we have to keep the fanfare down.
We like to give George a hard time. It's a lot of fun. Of course, he gives as well as he gets. So
He does. But it's good to have him in class. It's really good.
So you said he was in the 14th class. So you had by that time you'd already taught 13 classes before George even came around.
Right.
Wow.
So what year did you start? What was your
2016, the fall of 2016.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, let's get started with Sue. Tell us a little bit about your family, what you do, and just a little bit about yourself so people know who you are.
Well, I've been in fitness for about, this is really going to age me. This is going to show you what I am. 40? No. Yeah, about 40 years involved in fitness.
You were in fitness before fitness was cool.
Well, yeah.
She made it cool.
I did. Of course, we had the leg warmers and everything back then. It was all that. We took our sneakers off to exercise back then. Yeah.
So that
was crazy.
Was it Olivia Newton-John and all those days?
Yeah,
Jane Fonda.
Yeah. All those.
I still remember a record, and is it Jane Fonda on it? It was or was it Olivia Newton-John? But she was in like.
Oh yes, that was her in her leotard.
Let's
and stuff.
get physical.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes. Yeah. So I've been in fitness a long time. I was a fitness instructor, aerobic instructor. I taught every type of aerobic class that was out there. And then started pursuing like fitness director, being a fitness director, aerobic director, things like that. Then kind of like got burnt out from some of that and decided I still wanted to stay in the fitness field, but kind of went into working for a chiropractor, just more of the healthcare field. And that's kind of where I'm landing right now. I work for a medical device company. So I teach patients how to use a medical device for pain relief. So I really like that because I love to encourage people. I love to motivate people. I love to help people. And I always end up on those calls with encouraging and helping people through helping them feel better. So that's important. I'm married. I have 2 children. I have 4 grandchildren and 1 dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. So Melissa, what about you?
Yeah, I'm married. My husband Jamie and I are celebrating our 16th wedding anniversary next month. We're heading to Jamaica
You're not old enough for that, are you?
And so Jamaica's special to us because that's where we got married. So he says we're heading back.
That's where
to the
Debbie and I
scene
got
of crime.
married.
Really?
Yeah, in Ocho Rios.
Us too.
Yeah.
It's a popular place.
It is, apparently. So we have a 12-year-old son, Derek, and I've been blessed with 3 bonus children. They're older. They're flown and grown. And so I at work, I'm kind of a print nerd. I make sure that my clients have all the print promotional products, apparel that they need, when they need it, how they need it.
Wow.
I always say I don't like to run.
Yes.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. We were running one time, and I really wanted to be done with the run, and I thought we were only a couple miles in, and I thought, if I just fell off this curb, like twisted my ankle a little, I could be done with this run.
Getting really transparent very early in this.
Yes. People always ask me if I like running. No, not really. I like the people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So, so you're in the middle of we said your 19th class right now. How did you get started with us years ago?
You know what? I really don't have an answer for that because I don't remember how I found Run for God. I remember, I don't know if I found it on the website, if I found it on I don't even remember, but it came to me. And I remember running with a friend who I was helping her train for a half marathon. I was training her. And I asked her to take the class. Why don't you start this Run for God class thing? Because you know the Bible really well. You'll do really well with it. She goes, no, I don't want to lead it. You should do it. I said, no, forget it. I can't do it. And I let it go. I put it on the back burner, but it kept coming to me. Like, I don't know if it kept flashing. You know how you get things in your internet where something will just pop up? Well, it kept popping up. I'm like, what? Okay. So I checked into it a little bit more and researched it a little bit more and got the book and went to my pastor and talked to him about it and had him read the book. And that's when I said, I think we should do this in our church. Not me, but one of you guys should do this. You should lead this class. And they're like, well, we don't have time to do that and blah, 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 blah. You should do it. Again, it went on the back burner because, of course, I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't. Eventually, there was a church picnic, and out of the blue, the one pastor got up on the podium and said, hey, Sue had come to me one time and talked to me about this Run for God class. Sue, you're here? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, if anybody's interested, Sue will be back at that back table and you can talk about it. I'm like, like I wasn't ready. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't do this. I don't know anything about it. And next thing you know, I'm standing behind this table and I grabbed a little index card from the women's group that was advertising something. I grabbed one of their cards and put name, phone number on the back of the card and just pushed it in front of me. And people started lining up. And I'm
Really?
like, oh no. Like, Lord, I want to do this. I'll do it, but just 5 people, not 15 people that are signed up for this right now. I can only do 5. I did it.
Yeah.
And I started it, and it was just day by day and week by week. I didn't have any place to meet. I just kept finding a place in York. We'd meet at one park, and then we'd meet at another park, and then another park. And there was like 15, 20 people in that class.
Really?
Wow.
So I was a little nervous, but we
Yeah.
did it. I
You
did
did
it.
it. You got
We
through it.
finished it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. It reminds me of how I started with coaching kids. The way I got started coaching kids was my oldest son was just old enough to play T-ball. And so I didn't even know anything about T-ball. I didn't play T-ball when I was a kid. We were coach pitch right off the bat. I didn't even know what a T was, basically. And so we go to the first practice, and we get home from that first practice, and the coach calls me and says, "Yeah, my daughter's decided she doesn't want to play, so we're just going to let you coach the team." I didn't ask. I did the same way. It was like, here you go. And but sometimes those are the most rewarding things.
They are.
When you just
It really
got thrust
was.
into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
That's pretty cool. So you are, like you said, you're a fitness person, but you weren't really a runner, right?
No.
But you knew enough that the teaching the running principle side of this probably wasn't too uncomfortable for you, right?
Right. Now, I had been running. I ran my first half marathon in 2007.
Okay.
So I had been running, and so I knew I could handle that piece.
Okay.
That was easy. I can know exercises. I know injury prevention. I know all that. It was that first part, you know? Like, I've been a Christian for since my teen years, but you feel like you can't teach the Bible if you don't know the Bible 100%. That's how you feel. You feel like I'm not confident enough. Like, what if they ask me a question that I can't answer?
I've never been to seminary.
Yeah. Right.
You start prefacing these
right.
things.
Like I don't know how to do any of that. And so that's the part that was scary for me. And that's why I wanted my friend, who is now a pastor somewhere, she could clearly have done that piece, and I'll just do the other half. We'll do it together. And she didn't have time to teach a class. She had other things to do. So I knew that, okay, Lord, you're pushing me into another uncomfortable position, but this is the journey that he wanted me to travel on, because now here I am 19 classes later, which never thought that was going to happen. So
we know that you don't have to be a seminary Bible scholar in order to teach the class.
Exactly.
Right? It's all there.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything, you guys have laid out a very good program to simply follow.
Yeah.
Just follow it. Just read it and follow it. Yep.
So what do you think are the biggest, I always say the biggest passion is you just need to have a passion for wanting to connect with people, and you can teach a class. You don't have to know that much about running or the Bible.
No.
Right?
Long time ago when I was teaching aerobic classes, I remember praying and asking the Lord, the only thing I really know, I felt like the only talent I really have is exercise, fitness. I can get up there and I can act like a silly nut and motivate you and be all that. Is that the only gift I have? Like, I can only teach fitness. And I said, Lord, help me to find a way to use this to glorify you. So I tried. I got into some Christian aerobic classes that I tried to model and tried to be an example in my church, but they just didn't do it. They didn't pan out. They didn't continue. And I'm like, okay, then I don't know where he wants me. I just don't understand. And then when this came in, when I found Run for God, I'm like, okay, this might be what he wants me to do. And once I started it, I started to realize that,
this is where he wants
this is where God wants me.
From the other things that you had tried?
It was the peace it was just this peace that came over it, and the community that was being built within the class. Like, it's even hard to explain, like the friendships that are developed, the trust within one another, the encouragement that we give along the way. Like when we're out there on those runs, we're right beside each other, helping each other. Come on, get the breathing down, slow down, walk, run, whatever. You don't have to walk, you can run, or you don't have to run, you can walk. Giving those motivational, and to know that that we've got that in touch community within each other of trust and building up one another.
There's a saying that I keep hearing it over and over, especially over the past few years. I don't remember who coined the phrase. It might have been Angie, but the phrase that there's a lot more than running going on here. People think this is a running ministry, and it is a running ministry, but the running in the end is a very small part of it. Do you find that holds true?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Because the nice thing about the class is there's so many different shapes and sizes and ages. And you may look at one person and go, she'll never run across that 5K finish line. And yet
they crush it.
The excitement that we have seen.
Yeah.
That they come across. We're at the end of that finish line just cheering them on, like crying, because it's just like such an emotional piece to see someone who said, I cannot do this. I cannot run. I can't even walk. Yes, you can.
That's what the two guys last night said. They were talking about they didn't run their graduation race because they wanted to be at the finish line for that reason. So that's cool. You're taking the I can'ts and turning them into I just did that.
Yep.
And that's so huge, because that doesn't just stick with running. People start using those same principles and tools in their marriage or in their job or whatever it is that's hard in their life. They've got a new set of tools in their toolbox that they can apply to that hard thing.
Yep.
And
And we talk about that a lot, about the parallels of the journey we have with, going from week 1 to week 5, all that in between stuff, and how at week 5 it gets a little harder, a little bit harder, and how we parallel that with our walk with Christ. We have those hills and valleys, and we say that a lot, don't we? We do that a lot in class about how it parallels our walk. Yeah.
Well, you said something last week when I was talking to you that struck me. That I don't know, you may not even think it's that big of a deal when you said it, but it was to me when I heard it. And you said the phrase you used was "be where your feet are."
Yeah.
And I love that thought. is don't be worrying about all the other stuff that's going on all around you. Just be present where you are, and I thought that was great. But you also said that you don't necessarily plan another class until you finish a class.
Right.
So you got a class. You may be going through a class now, but you don't have the next one planned until you finish it, until God gives you the signal. Can you tell us a little about that process?
Every time I finish a class, they always ask me, when's our next one? And I'm like, well, you know what? If God brings the people to the class, and I'll teach another one. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I can't really tell you. Most likely it'll be spring, but I don't have any dates in mind. We wait and see if God leads me to it and if the people follow, if the people come in. And he hasn't said no yet. He hasn't said stop yet, because they keep coming. And the people that came keep bringing. So it's awesome. It's really cool. Sometimes I feel like, do I want to do another class? Am I ready? Am I ready? Maybe I need a break. I've done, in fact, that happened this past class. And I brought some of the alumni together and talked to them about it. And of course, it's just what God does. He spoke to them too. And they said, well, we'll help out. We'll teach them some of the class too, and take that, not the burden, but the responsibility of it all off of you. And that way you can still do your part that's strong, and we can come along behind. And we did it. And this is one of our biggest classes. We've got 35, something like that. Almost 40 in this class. So he's not done with us yet. He's not done. So I just keep following his lead. I really do. I just pray and say, Lord, if you want me to do another one, I'm open to it. Yeah. My hands are open. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We will be back shortly. Do you need something to keep you motivated to keep fit both physically and spiritually? Upward Running has what you need to keep you on track for both. Check out upwardrunning.com and join us for pennies a day. I promise you, you will not regret it. All right, we're back. And so, Melissa, you have a great story. So tell us when you got involved, how you got involved. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so you wouldn't think that my running story starts with growing up, but that's where I'm going to start. It'll make sense. So growing up, we didn't really go to church. As a teenager, I even told my mom that I was an atheist. I don't think I knew what that meant at the time, but I said the words. And I hit this season in my life, I don't know, in my mid-20s maybe. I didn't know what was happening. And the order of events are kind of fuzzy, but there was one point where an acquaintance invited, I was walking on the street and she invited me to a Bible study. And I'm like, come to your Bible study? I've never even opened a Bible. Like, crazy. Around the same time, my hairstylist moved away and a friend referred me to Della. And you know that name. And I just needed to get my hair done. And I show up and I sit down in Della's chair and she has this God music playing. And I'm like, oh, this girl's weird. But my hair looked great, so I kept going back. So the next time I sit down and she's talking about Jesus. And I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. Why am I here? But I kept going back, and Della just kept speaking to me every time I sat in her chair. Around the same time again, we enrolled our son in preschool. It was close. It was convenient. It happened to be at a church. He started asking questions. He came home asking me questions. I couldn't answer a preschooler's questions about the Bible.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, I don't even honestly care about the answers at that point, but I should probably get him to church so someone can answer his questions. So I took him to church and I sat in the pew every week. I remember falling asleep a couple of times. Don't tell the pastor. But I also remember that time that I was sitting in the pew crying. I can't tell you what the message was, but something happened that day. This was all in the same time frame. And shortly after, Della told me that she had started running. and she invited me to her class. And I thought, sure, I'll go. I mean, I've always wanted to become a runner. Why not? And then the more I thought about it, I thought, it's Run for God. I'm going to a Run for God class, and I don't even really believe in God. Like, this is going to be weird. I'm going to be judged. It's going to be awkward. I almost canceled. I was really scared to walk in those doors. But I did it. I walked in. And it changed my life.
Bless her.
By the end of those 12 weeks, I was a believer. I made new friends. I ran a 5K. It changed my life.
Wow. You're the reason why, when the 5K challenge was first made, when Mitchell did that first class, it was a discipleship class. And that the whole thing was changed to present the gospel for a reason. And
we had coaches, because it was made for 12 people at Grove Level Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia. And we started having coaches call and say, we've got Melissa's coming to our class. They're coming to learn how to run. And they're saying, I don't care anything about that Bible stuff. And that's when we knew we've got to change this curriculum up. And so now when people say, I want to learn how to run, but I don't care anything about the Bible stuff, I'm like, that's fine.
Yep.
You're going to get it. I don't say it that way.
Right.
But I've never heard that story quite like that. And so that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
I only have one question. Why haven't we shared that on the podcast?
Exactly. That's what I'm sitting here thinking.
That is awesome. So how long ago was that?
Oh, that was probably
2019, 19 or 20.
No, it was more recent or longer ago than that. It was probably 20. When did you start?
16.
So it was probably
2016.
It was probably 2018. Yeah, I would say 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like that long ago. That's weird.
Yeah.
So how much do you run these days? Or do you walk more, run?
No,
What
I'm a runner.
Yeah.
I run 3 times a week, usually less than 20 miles.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I try to be consistent 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. So we've heard a lot of stories coming out of a lot of groups, obviously, over the years. So what are y'all's favorite stories? Sue, let's start with you. What was your favorite story coming out of
Dean, I want to back up just a second. I want to park on this story for just a minute.
Yeah.
At what point during that 12 weeks, unpack that for me a little bit.
So, I mean, God was working hard. I was that one lost sheep. He was coming after me, whether I wanted him to or not. And there were so many things happening in my life. I can't pinpoint a specific week. I just feel like going into the class, I was maybe curious because of all the things that were already happening. And I think that the class made me, you may not understand this, but when you're not a believer at all, you start to, there's the questions, right? Like, well, everything happens for a reason, right? Isn't that what you say?
Yeah.
And I would say the combination of sitting in church, not listening, it was getting to me, and sitting in Sue's class, hearing the stories, that was when we used to do the videos every week, and hearing those stories, I think it just made this God character real to me. The book just explains faith in a way that is not hard to understand.
Because it's not.
it's not.
We make it hard.
Correct. When you don't, it feels overwhelming.
Sure.
I think at first because the Bible is scary. So there's all these words that you don't know what they mean.
Still don't.
Right. Right.
And we can't see God. We can't touch him.
Sure.
And so, the more stories that you hear and just, I think just the exposure and hearing other people in the class too.
Yeah.
And just being around. I probably up till then had intentionally not put myself in the presence of believers.
So it was the community as much as anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for sharing that. I've never heard that, so I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
We tend to turn into the people we hang out with.
Absolutely.
And so
Good
just
or
being
bad.
around that group.
Yeah.
Right.
Good or bad.
Yes.
That's right. And that's why we tell our kids hang around with other good kids.
Right.
Because we want them to, because we know what'll happen if they don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember. There were times I hung out with good fellas, and there were times I hung out with not so good, and there was a difference in my behavior. It's funny. We've heard a lot of cool stories coming out of all of our classes. Obviously, this is a great story.
Yeah.
But what other stories that just come to mind when I say that? What are stories that you guys think about?
I think one of the first ones that I remember that were really, really cool was when we do week 8 in the 20-minute run.
Yeah.
I usually plan a couple weeks before that and calling all the emergency contacts or, contacting them and telling them to, look, this is what we're going to do. And this is when we were not meeting here. We were meeting at a scuba dive school at that point, in a very small room. And there was a track outside from the college next door. And on that track was what's it called? A box, like from a baseball field.
Oh, like a dugout.
A dugout. There was a dugout there. And so I planned it all. Don't tell anybody about the 20-minute run. Nobody knew about that 20-minute run until the week before. I don't tell them about it. And then,
Surprise.
But I call the contacts, our emergency contacts, and say, this is what we're doing. Do not tell your family. Do not tell the person in your class that you're going to be there. And I had them hide behind the dugout. And so I planned the run that when we got to about 20 minutes, it would be coming by that dugout. And so when we ran by that dugout, they all jumped out. They had signs and bells and whistles and horns and screaming and all this stuff. And they were so surprised.
And everybody started having heart attacks.
Oh, but it wasn't, it was like, if you could see their faces, like they were just like, wow, you're
It's a
here.
picture of Hebrews
like
12:1.
my husband is here. My kids are here. Like you're here to support me. Like they then realized how much support they had by their family, and that it made them run a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And it made them bring their chest back, out a little bit further, and their head up and their chin up high. And some were crying out of joy. It was just awesome. And to see, first of all, the support from the families, for these people. And to see that these runners can run. They didn't think they could do 20 minutes, and they did it. And maybe they walked a little bit a couple times, but they've crossed that 20-minute. And I had a banner up. They had to run through the tape. And we always say, hands up high when you cross that finish line, because you're giving God all the glory.
Yeah.
They know that now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that when you cross that finished 5K line, that hands go up. But just, it was great. It was chills all over my body just watching the joy of those people, seeing that they can do something, and then the support behind it. Yeah.
I've always said
cool.
that.
It was so cool.
I've always said week 8 is just as pivotal as race day. Because
It's
that's
so
the night where
cool.
people are like, we're going from 8 minutes to 20 minutes. And I'm like, no. You're going from 16
right.
to 20. We're just kind of kicking that 4 minutes out
Right.
in between.
But on the other hand, they're also seeing the support they have,
Yeah.
not just from their family, but I think that's when the community of the group itself
Sure.
starts to grow even stronger, because they're supporting each other. Everybody's high-fiving each other. The ones who have run, marathons are high-fiving the people who are just running 20 minutes. And that helping each other and encouraging one another. And that's what we're to do. And that's a really cool time.
That's also the day that the folks in the class stop arguing with people when they call them a runner, right? Up to that point, when you call somebody a runner, they're like, well, I'm not a real runner. But once they run for 20 minutes, they're like, this realization comes to them that, you know what, I'm a runner now.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you think that happens?
I often tell them that before that, though.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. I
because
absolutely believe that.
Even that first,
they believe
exactly. They finally just find it in themselves that they can say, I am a runner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Melissa, what about you? Any particular moment that sticks out to you that?
Yes. So
this is where you can air the dirt on Sue.
we don't have any of that. So I think that a cool story for me is that my parents have always been big supporters. And so they showed up at that 20-minute run for me. They cheered me on, all those things. And they would always show up at my races and things like that. Well, my dad passed away about 5 years ago. And my mom had never, ever considered joining our class. I invited her to class, and I think our class started a week after he passed. It was almost right away. And she was very hesitant. But she came, and that's been a pretty awesome story.
She is amazing.
She's grown so much in so many ways in her faith. She's created so many friendships, and she's kind of our walking captain.
She is our walking coach. I always lead all of our walkers to Janet. Janet's her name.
So will Janet be here tonight?
Yes, she will.
Right.
Yep. And she is she's amazing. Really. She helps with the walkers right away. She's just a great encouragement to our group. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was a
what makes
blessing.
her awesome? What is the thing about her?
She's positive. I never see her down. I never see her. She always has a way of, if you say something negative, she'll throw a positive. And you know that she's going to just lift you up. The walkers, I always go, go to Janet. She's going to lead you through. I'll go, we go with the runners, and she's back with the walkers, and she reports back to me at the end like this. Yes, she really did well. She picked up her pace on this one, and she did this and did it. And I pushed her a little bit, but she's just, wait till you meet her. She's going to be great.
With Janet tonight.
Yeah, she's great. Oh, you'll have fun with her.
That sounds good. We're going to take another break. Have you always wanted to read through the entire Bible but never found the time to do it? Well, let me do it for you. Sign up for the self-paced Bible in a Year Challenge and start listening today. Every day, I read a few chapters from the Bible and give you helpful tips and encouraging quotes. You must be an Upward Running member for access to this exciting challenge. So if you're not a member, sign up today and get started. If you are a member, what are you waiting for? All right, so we've had a pretty fair number of churches starting up classes over the last several months. So we're kind of picking up steam again, which is really exciting to see. And I'm just wondering, what advice would you guys have for somebody, maybe they're listening to this and they're thinking, I don't know if I want to try a class, or hopefully the people not everybody's stuck where you were, Sue, where they're forced into it, but they're thinking about, maybe I want to do that. Maybe I'm not sure. What would you say to those people?
It's just do it. If God is placing it on your heart, if it keeps coming to your forefront, that's God. That's the Holy Spirit working in you. It's just, He's not going to let you go. If it keeps coming to you, just got to do it. And you follow through when God tells you to do something, right? It's not hard. You know what you do? You open that book and you go through the steps. It's so easy to explain, and you start out. And I still do this to the 19th class. I still open my book to week 1. I look at what's written in there and listen and review everything. It takes me, half hour to just kind of review it, remember what it was, and then come in class and just talk. And it just happens because all you're doing is reading the story and then asking a question, and everybody pitches in and starts talking. So it's all I'm doing is facilitating. You're just facilitating. That's it. Yeah. And you run together and you walk together, and then you disperse, and
People think it should be more complicated.
It's
than that,
not.
and it's not.
It is not
and that's
hard.
by design. We don't think it should be.
It's not as hard. I mean, you think about the very first class I taught. I did it week by week. Week by week, really. I mean,
me
week
too.
1, I was at that park. Week 2, okay. By the class starts Wednesday. I get Tuesday. I don't even have a place yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet at my house. Let's meet at my house. Like, it was just that. That was just how it was until we could find a permanent spot to have class. But that was a couple of years we did that. So it's not hard.
And God
if I
always
can do
provided
it.
a place for you.
He did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could go on stories and stories of how he found places, but it was all through.
What was the oddest place you
The
ever
oddest
met?
place. Well, we met at the Central High School on their front patio, like on their front. And then I remember sitting in a parking lot, in the back parking lot by the field hockey fields, and sitting in the grass back there. Were you in that class yet? Okay. We were sitting in the field hockey fields, just sitting there. And that's how we had class. And I said, okay, we're just going to run around the school. And I would have the timer, and I would do all that stuff and blow my whistle, and it was good. We met back, we finished class, and we moved on. I don't know where we're going to be next week, but we will be meeting. I'll let you know, and then we would go to the next place,
So like here tonight, will we be running here?
Oh, yeah, there's a neighborhood in this, right?
So you go into the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Do you get questions?
We do. We
I
have.
bet you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they
40
see-
people running in front of your house, you're like,
I'm sure we make their neighborhood Facebook
Right.
page. Why are all these runners?
Right. And you know what? I bet they're used to us now every Wednesday night,
They wave.
and
Yeah.
we're like,
has
hey,
any of them joined you?
they've asked, and we give them, like, I have business cards. I have little cards that I have. I'll have to
Is
show
that
them to you later.
She's a planner like you.
Yes.
But yeah, and that's all another story. But yeah, we invite them. I guess a lot of those people in that neighborhood come to our class. Several of them live over there. So
Yeah. Well,
they
I live
found us,
nearby, so
and
I know
she
a lot
does
of
too.
people over there.
Yeah.
Do you live in that neighborhood?
I used to.
Yeah.
Now I live a mile away.
Okay.
Big move.
Yeah.
Close enough, though. Close enough. So what do you think are the keys to conducting a successful class? It's easy. We've established that the class is easy to do. But what do you think are the keys to making your class a success?
Not doing it by yourself. Like I started the class, I got it started, but I have learned, and Missy has helped me with making myself do that I don't have to wear all the hats. That she encouraged me to delegate. So delegating, like Missy takes care of the tech, like all my paperwork, because I'm a paper junkie. I like to take roster. I like to take attendance. I like to do all that. My emergency contact papers, all that stuff. She helps me guide that. Janet does too. They both are very good, and I can just say, you do that. And then I have someone else who does group me. It's a way that we communicate with the class another way. She takes that. And I think once I started doing that, I wish I would have did that from the very start, is saying, I will do this piece and you do this piece. And it just makes it where we're all working together to accomplish the same goal.
Sure.
And that's a whole separate community of leaders. So you kind of got a community inside of a community.
Right.
And yeah.
But to start the class, I'm like, I didn't have that to start. I just started it.
Yeah.
And that anybody can just start it and just say, let's come together. It's just like starting a Bible study.
So how do you recruit people? How do you get people to come and join the class? What are the keys to doing that?
Missy, you can take that one.
I love recruiting people
Yes.
to come to class.
Yeah.
After every run, we take a selfie. And I share it on my social. This did not start as a recruiting tactic. It has turned into that kind of, I guess. So people see that we're out there having fun running, and they see this community.
Capitalizing on FOMO.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then I invite them. And oftentimes I get the response of, well, we don't do church. And I'm like, that's okay. Neither did I. Just come. We'll run together.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they come. They just keep coming.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Well, what we have found over the years is that the people who teach classes find out that their views on other people, whether it be running or other related, that their view of it all changes. So how has your view of running, or your view, of course, you already told us your view of the Bible and how that changed. But have you found other things in the way that your thoughts change?
As far as running goes?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I wanted to be a runner. I am. You already know I don't love running, but I love the community. I say I don't love running, but I secretly kind of do, I think. I think that our view of walkers have changed.
Yeah.
Right, Sue?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely. It does because, well, so many people go, well, I can't run, so I'm not going to join that class. Well, walking is moving forward. It's better than sitting on the couch or sitting at home in front of the TV all day. I mean, it's getting up and getting moving. And we found that this class isn't just about the movement. It's about community. It's about encouraging one another. We had a woman in the class who had really bad knees, very bad knees. Her health wasn't as strong as she wanted it to be, and she started in the very first class. She was ready to leave. She finished the workout and says, "I can't do this." I said, "Yes, you can. You can do this. You turn around and walk away. Yeah, you won't do it, but we're here, and we will encourage you one step at a time." Her name was Donna, and she fought it. She didn't have the support that she had at home to encourage her as much. So we were her encouragement. And every week, she got out there. She was the last one to finish the segment, but she came in. And she still had that negative, like, I can't do this, I can't do this. It wasn't until probably week 8 when we did the 20-minute run that she finally finished, and we had the bells and whistles, and we had the tape, and we hugged her, and just, we were so excited for her that she did it, that she kind of turned and said, maybe I can do this. And she walked the whole thing. That's, I think, when we turned. It was like, yeah, look at the excitement that she had for doing something that she never thought she could do, that she was told in her own life that she would never be able to do this, and she crossed that 5K finish line that week, that race. She had the biggest, I always say the last person crossing the finish line gets the biggest applause, because we're all at the end with our screaming and hollering and hugging and, cheering for her. That if you could have just seen that smile, like she had her arms up and she's just walking fast across that finish line, and she did it. And that was the biggest, like, anybody can do this class. You don't have to be a runner. And that's when I think we just kind of went, we got to start respecting the walkers.
Yeah. That's a good point. Because for a long time, did you even have walkers when you began?
The beginning, no, because we was run for God. We were encouraging running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was.
But we also turned a lot of walkers into runners.
Is that right?
Because they said, "Oh, I'm not gonna run. I'm just gonna walk this thing." I'm like, okay, I don't care. And then next thing you know, Ann, she's, you'll see her tonight. She was a walker from the start, and you'll hear her story. She's a runner now. She picks up her little feet and she gets moving. I'm like, yay, and her husband's here and he walks, and it's perfect. It's it's so cool. It's so cool. And I think as a leader, I've seen so many successful stories in that way. And that's what we want. We want everybody likes to be motivated. Everybody likes to be encouraged.
Sure.
And we've all had experiences in our life where we've done something that we didn't think we could do, but we went for it anyway. And when we finished, we were like, hey, I am that person. I can do something really cool. I can do it. But
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember as I was coaching at the college, I remember that there are certain seasons where they just seem magical. Like everything kind of falls into, and it just, everybody's attitude is better or something. I don't know what it is, but there just seems to be those seasons that are just magical. And then there are seasons that are like, well, it was good, but not. Have you had one of those magical years where you just, that one class that was just really, really special? Do you think there was one that sticks out to your mind?
Yeah. So our spring of 2021 class, we planned to do the 5K like we always did. And I was listening to these crazy people on this podcast talking about a marathon. And I show up in class and said, Sue, I think I want to do this marathon with Run for God. Will you coach me through it? She's like, yeah, sure, of course. She's all excited. And I share with a couple people in class. And next thing we know, 10 of us are training for and did the Disney Marathon together. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of momentum in that class. It was a really special class.
Yeah. 10 of you did.
10.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Was there 10? There might have been maybe 11 or 12, I thought.
11 of us went to Florida together. One person did the half marathon.
Yes.
And 10 of us did the full marathon. Yep.
Yeah.
That was the story behind that, don't you?
I don't know if I do.
So it was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Classes weren't going on. And I had not run a marathon in a few years. And I said, I think I'm going to run a marathon. And me and Holly and Dean and Gay were sitting around the table. And I said, Dean's like, I'll do it with you. I was like, well, let's just see if anybody else wants to do it. And we thought, well, let's see if we can get 10 or 15 people through the run. Because I thought, couch to marathon, that's crazy. I'm convinced we coined that phrase because I had never heard of it before. And I thought, we'll put a couch to marathon plan out there and see if anybody wants to do this.
I remember when you did that. Yeah, because you didn't have that many.
1,200 people sign up.
Yes.
And I thought, who are these crazy people that... But it's, when somebody says, I'm going to become a runner, a lot of people, if you're like me, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to start at the 5K. Just sign me up for the marathon. And yeah, that was crazy that year.
Yeah.
And the couch to marathon, we've actually got one starting at the end of this month. That's for the Cannonball in, is it Greensboro.
Yeah.
And it starts the end of this month. And we've had a lot of people sign up. We've never done it outside of January. Mm-hmm. We've always started in January. But we've got one starting the end of this month. And it's been really popular. And couch to marathon's a thing for sure.
Yeah. We had a great time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
So that was your first.
That was my only marathon so far.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So far. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
I like hearing that.
Now,
I haven't heard her say that before.
How many marathons have you run?
I've done 5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we were surprised by how many people showed up at Disney that year.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big group of folks there.
There's almost 400 people.
I remember us standing
runners.
at the finish line, just watching folks come in one after another. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It probably was cool for you guys to see, because we were all wearing Run for God shirts then, and to see all them coming across.
Yeah.
And knowing that.
Yeah. I honestly wasn't very happy with the people that didn't wear the shirt, because there were people who finished. We didn't even know they finished, because there was a lot of people.
We saw pictures like a day or two later, and we're like, we didn't even know you were there.
Yeah, you got to wear the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do either one of you guys have any like bucket list things you want to do from a running standpoint? You ever thought about an ultra marathon, or are you?
No,
nothing
I never want to run more than 26.2 miles.
That's never going to happen.
One more point and it'll be an ultra.
That's right. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't really have any running goals right now. I'm running for the community right now. I probably will go back and do another marathon at some point in time, but right now I'm just running for the community.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part about running.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So this is your 19th class. I've taught a lot of classes. I haven't taught 19 classes. So you're ahead of me. Of course, I've said for years, there's plenty of coaches out there that can teach circles around me. What brings you back?
What brings me back? God brings me back. Really?
Yeah, is it the friendships?
Yeah.
Is it the community? Is it the being able to pour into people? Or all the above? Or
yes, really.
Yeah.
I love to encourage.
Yeah.
I love to
That's
motivate.
Obvious.
And I love to see people try things that they feel they can't do, and to see them accomplish it. Mm-hmm. I love that. Like that. And that's what I remember. That's what I come back for. I'm like, especially when there's people going, so you're starting a new class again, right? I'm like, yeah. Yep, I am. Yep.
And so let me take that a step further, because you're one of the coaches through the years that, I remember when all we had was the 5K challenge, coaches would reach out and be like, what's next? We've been through this 4 times, 5 times. What keeps bringing your class back? A lot of times they're reading the same story.
Yes.
They're going through the same book, but they're drawn back. Is it the community?
I believe it is the community, and that they enjoy
the time.
exercising together, working out together, and they enjoy motivating each other. When you read a story, okay, and I've told you this before, like, I've read the stories now 19 times, but every time you read the story, you have someone else reading the story for the first time. So you're hearing the story heard in a different way. You're hearing, just like when we read the Word, when we read the Bible, we read a scripture. One, depending on where we are in our journey, you read a scripture and it'll touch you one way, and then another time you read it and, well, that same scripture really didn't do much for me today, but it did something for Missy today. And so when we read those scriptures and we read those stories, even though we're reading the same ones, you're still hearing them differently from someone else. Because when you're asking the question, or that might lead to something else that leads to something else. And I think Missy can kind of go into something that we had talked about one time we were on a run about that same thing.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you need the class and sometimes the class needs you. So we had a really big class, 40 people this one session. And I said, I'm not coming. I just want to make room for the new people. I want to make sure that everyone has their time to speak and be heard. And I feel like I'm going to step away. I've been here for a while, and I want to make room for new people. And Sue said, no, what do you mean you're not coming back? I thought I was being helpful to the class by making room for these new people. And she said, well, it was right after my dad died, probably a year after. And she said, what if someone shows up who is grieving the loss of their parent? You can walk that with them.
You stinker.
Well played.
And I came to class that session, and boy, did I need class that session.
Yeah.
It was a harder season than I expected it to be. And so God brought me back for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've all had those classes too, and I'm sure you've had those classes where you felt like Satan was just standing right outside the door and trying to get in the way everything you did. I'm sure the first season when you didn't have places to meet, that probably was something that was tough. Can you tell us about some of those situations where you just had to overcome some tough obstacles to get things done?
Well, I think, we all have lives where we have Satan attacks us whenever we're trying to do something good. And he's done that many times. I mean, personally, there have been times I've had a really bad day and I'm like, I don't have anything to give this time. I just gonna show up for class and, wing it, But those were the days that, like, I could have called and said, Missy, take the class. I can't do it tonight. Like, there's just things going on in my life. I can't do it. But I didn't. I came through and we did the class, and that ends up being one of the best classes ever, because that's when I defeated Satan on that one. Like, no, you're not gonna stomp on my joy.
It's kind of like those days you don't want to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
They turn into the best ones.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he just has a way of throwing darts into your path to say, no, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do what God wants you to do today. As a matter of fact, today, I work at home. My business is at home, so I don't need my car every day. But this morning, my car decided not to work. Okay, it's dead, battery dead. Like, all the lights were not going on the car, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Like, of all days, I need my car. I have Run for God class tonight. We have this podcast that we're doing. I need my car. Nobody in the class kind of lives near where I live, and my husband was working, and it was just not good. And I said, Satan, you are not going to step on this again. You're just not. And my husband was like, he will not. He was in agreement with me. Like, no, I'll go to work late. We'll make this work. Ended up having a tow truck to come get my car. Long story short, Janet, our walking coach, saved the day. She came to my house and picked me up and brought me over here today. But it's just, you have to be observant of that, though. You really do. You have to be observant of when you have in those times. And I tell the class, like, if you don't get your runs in, if you only got one run in this week and you ran it with us last week and you haven't gotten them in, that doesn't mean you don't show up next week. You just come. We will get you moving. We'll get you going. Don't worry about it. Don't let Satan say, oh, you're not good enough. This is where you should be. Why would God not want you here? Why would he not want you here? I mean, you're learning about him, you're growing with him, you're in community with other believers. Why would he not want you here? So don't ever let that be an excuse for not showing up.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me about that is that it's the class and the principles that you learn in the class that help you learn how to overcome those darts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that I don't think I can do that 20-minute run, and then you do the 20-minute run, you realize I can do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
When he throws those curveballs at me, I can hit that curveball,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, how do you get your class members, besides getting onto them every once, just when they say they don't want to come, is your class attendance good, and how do you get folks to show up? Well, we always have folks that drop out. You probably have some that occasionally drop out along the way too.
Yeah.
But how do you encourage folks to keep coming when they feel defeated?
Well, I always say the two words, show up. That's the words that we always say. If you don't know what you're doing, you just show up and we'll get you through the rest. Just drop the things at the door and come in. Try that. Second, I try and do a weekly email every week. I always try and get it out like a couple of days before the next class. Just kind of reviewing what we learned on the last class, giving them a couple of words of encouragement. We do weekly Bible verses that we try and memorize. We don't really. We just speak because it's hard to memorization is something that is very challenging for me. But we always have a new memory verse each week, so we speak that. I put that in the email. But just trying to follow up through an email, because that's the easiest way to do it with a large group of people. So I do that.
So constant communication.
Yeah.
Not just in the class, but outside the class as well.
Yeah.
Sue seems like the type that she would show up at your house if you didn't come for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Come on,
Sue's
let's go.
knocking on the door.
She might even grab you by the ear. And
But the nice thing is that everybody does that.
Yeah.
Like Missy, she'll notice that someone's not here. Jen's not here. Oh, well, then she'll shoot her a text.
I missed you tonight.
Yeah, or someone else in the class will do the same thing. And those little bits of
it's the things we should be doing in our churches.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a great point. Well, let's end with scripture. So we've all got a favorite verse. Mine's Joshua 1:9. I don't know if you've ever heard me tell the story, but the reason why Joshua 1:9 is my favorite verse is because it starts off with, "Have I not commanded you?" And that is God saying, "I've told you 1,000 times, dummy," and he's smacking me upside the head saying, "I'm going to tell you one more time." And that's why I think Joshua 1:9 is good for me. So what about you guys? What's your favorite verse?
Mine is Matthew 24:13, and it's "But the one who endures to the end will be saved." And I think that's just no matter how hard it is, just stay faithful.
And that one goes right along with the classes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good marathon verse right there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine's Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. What?
You took mine.
Oh, sorry. There's
I bet
tons.
we got it
There's
for
tons
different
more.
reasons, though.
There's tons more.
We have it for different reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh. Well, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I taught that from my very first class. That's how I taught everybody to breathe. To breathe when they're running.
Yeah.
I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So, and we would quote that. We would chant that when we were running, like, teach you how to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
That's not why I like the verse, but that is an easy one to teach people how to breathe. I like it because it is, think of who wrote that. He was in prison when he wrote it. I can do all things through Christ. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and God will always provide what you need. He created us to do big things, hard things. Physically, we can do anything because God created our bodies to be able to do those hard things. So speak it. Speak it in your head when you're feeling weak. Speak it in your mind when you're going up that hill. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, and he will give me the strength to get up this hill. And we speak that a lot when we're running. Come on, get to that next tree, get to that next thing. I can, we just really try and encourage that way.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I heard a pastor
Cool.
say here a while back, we talked about this on the podcast, but he's the first person I've ever heard say it like this, but he said, we were created to suffer. If you look through scripture, everything Jesus commands, is suffering. We were made to see it. So mine was Philippians 4:13 as well. Right now it is. And it's because Paul is talking about contentment. I mean, he's in prison. But he's content there. And I think in a society today where contentment is just, it's just like, that's not the way you're supposed to live. That's what society says. And I think I keep coming back to, what was it you said your quote is? Be where your feet are. Yeah, I love that.
That's not really from me. A friend of mine gave me that. Chris gave us that. She was one of our classes who had that on her foot. She had it tattooed on her foot. And I'm like, and I caught it one day, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're always living. We're trying to live tomorrow today.
Yeah.
Live today.
Right. You're not promised tomorrow.
Be content where God's got you. In whatever season that is, be content there. And so that's why Philippians 4:13 is mine now.
Whoever said, what is it, dress for the job you want or something like that? Like, no, don't try to be who you're not. Be who God wants you to be, right?
Sure.
And that's what Paul is talking about there. He's talking about, and in today, we always think about Philippians 4:13, I think, in tough times when things are not going well, but we can overcome that thing. But Paul is also talking about when things were good, he can do the things he needed to do then too.
Yeah.
And even then, people who have a lot and have plenty, they have a whole different set of struggles, but it's a set of struggles nonetheless. Sure. I think that's important because I think we forget about that often, right? Yeah. That's why the people who are rich are vilified a lot of times. And why are they? Well, because they've got all this stuff. Well, along with all that stuff comes a lot of other stuff too, And I don't think I want any part of it. But anyway, any words of wisdom before we finish this up?
Just do it. If you're thinking about doing a Run for God class or upward running class, just do it.
That could be a shoe company slogan.
Yeah, but yeah. It's not hard. It really isn't. It's if you think it's hard, then you're overlooking the whole thing. Because it's everything's you're overthinking it. That's the word. Yeah, exactly. I say we're overlooking it, overthinking, whatever. Yeah, but it's really anybody can do it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Melissa?
Words of wisdom. Well, I was going to say the same thing. Just do it. I mean, from my perspective, just walk into that class. Yeah. That was the hard part for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we take for granted sometimes some of the things that seem simple, like walking into a class with a group of people. Right. There are people who, I'll be honest with you, I'm one of them. I am not an extrovert at all. I'm very introverted. And for me, walking into a place where there's a lot of people, it's not comfortable. Now I can do it, but I have to force myself a little bit. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So for the folks out there that might be listening to this and might be thinking, I don't know if I can hang out with a bunch of people doing something that I don't feel comfortable doing, you can.
They grab a hand with someone else and go and have them go with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Good. Grab a friend and just let's do this together. Because how many times I've gone to something, I'm like, I really don't want to walk in there by myself. Can you come with me? And then you can go. And then you're like, after that first time, you're like, oh, well, I can go by myself. If you don't want to go, I can go. Yeah. It's like I'm confident now to be able to walk in by myself. But that first time is always the hardest. So grab a friend and invite them in.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies, this has been a total pleasure for us. I'm speaking for Mitchell. I think I can.
Sure. He does that a lot.
So thank you, Sue, for all the faithfulness over the years in all of these classes that you've taught. It has made a difference. It has been a big impact, and we appreciate you. And Melissa, for your story, oh my goodness, thank you for telling that story. That is,
we need that in written form.
We really do.
So that Dean and I can kick it around for an hour and a half.
That's
I got
right.
you.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I can send it to you.
Not putting you on the spot or anything.
That's okay.
You on the spot.
That's okay. I can send it to you.
But thanks again, and it's been a privilege to sit at the same table as you guys. So
thank you. Same for us.
Until next time, may God bless every step of every run and or walk. Go out there and shine your light.
Good job, Dean. Good job, ladies.
You really do say that every time, don't you?
For more information about Upward Running, visit upwardrunning.com. If you have questions about your salvation, click on the Peace with God tab. There is nothing more important. Thanks for joining us today.